Because resources are unevenly distributed, trade in commodities has become an enormously important part of the global economy. In this lecture, we will examine key concepts and spatial patterns in the changing geographies of industry and service, to include types of services and post-industrial societies. These topics are important to geography to see and understand how and why the spatial patterns of industry and services have changed in a global setting. There has been a trend in developed countries as well as the world as a whole. As shown in the chart, MVA is falling in industrialized countries and rising in less developed countries as they become more industrialized. Deindustrialization, which is the long-term decline in industrial employment, has affected factories from Pennsylvania to Illinois, a region now dubbed the Rust Belt. The top right photo shows that Bethlehem Steel Mill in Pennsylvania closed when the U.S. steel industry experienced substantial declines between the 1960s and 1980s and lost its comparative advantage, in part because it was unable to compete with more efficient steel manufacturers in Japan and Korea. As an alternative, the bottom right photo shows a casino has opened at the site of the former steel mill, promising to revitalize the city of Bethlehem and highlighting the process of structural change in the local economy. There are three broad explanations for deindustrialization. One, productivity gains in manufacturing outgained productivity gains in services. In other words, machines sped up the processes to produce output. Manufacturing became more automated with fewer tasks by human labor, as in the flexible production system. Two, changing resource endowments. Resource endowments are natural resources, infrastructure, and skilled and educated workforce. When these change, a firm in another country can take advantage of lower cost of production and gain a competitive advantage. And three, economic globalization and the new internal division of labor. Again, the shift in jobs to developing countries. Primary and secondary industries primarily deals with the extraction and manufacturing of products. A third industry is the tertiary, which provides services and accounts for more than 75% of all U.S. jobs. Furthermore, types of services can be broken down further into tertiary, quaternary, and quinary services shown in the chart. In the tertiary sector, services are geared towards retail and the consumer. The photo on the left shows a barista preparing a beverage as an example. In the quaternary sector, services help improve business efficiency, such as advanced professional services, including legal services, as shown in the middle photo. These services generally require specialized expertise. In the quaternary sector, services produce knowledge and enhance quality of life. The photo on the right shows a senior scientist conducting research. The service sector has expanded rapidly in the world as shown in the pie chart from 1970 to 2011. The geography of employment in the sector service, however, remains highly uneven. Today, nearly three-quarters of the labor force in developed countries are employed in services. Yet in developing countries, service jobs employ just over one-third of the labor force. Women also account for more of the service sector jobs than men. The graph shows men are more concentrated in industry-related jobs and women are more concentrated in the services and agriculture. In order to level the playing field, the various divisions of the United Nations have supported gender mainstreaming for more than a decade. The aim of gender mainstreaming is to promote the equitable participation of women and men in all types of jobs. The service sector growth is associated with the emergence of post-industrial societies. There are five main characteristics of a post-industrial society. 1. High levels of urbanization exist. 2. The service sector is dominant with regards to total employment figures. 3. Prevalence of highly skilled specialists and professionals, usually referred to as white-collar workers, in the labor force. 4. Infrastructure is heavily based on information and communication technology, ICT for short. And 5. A knowledge-based economy exists, where know-how and resourceful ideas drive innovation and create values. Money spent on research and development, also known as R&D, is highly prevalent in a knowledge-based economy. R&D firms usually cluster in technopoles, which are areas which are areas these types of firms congregate to, which conduct research, design, development, and or manufacturing in high-tech industries. As an example of a technopole in the United States is Silicon Valley in California. An example outside the U.S. is in Malaysia. The Petronas Twin Towers marked an end of MSC Multimedia Supercorridor in Malaysia, as shown in the photo on the right. This technopole, still under development, is envisioned as a hub for ICT firms and intelligent cities that will employ and house its knowledgeable workers. Please pause the video and answer the following. Explain how deindustrialization may contribute to the countries becoming specialized in one sector of the global market. In your own words, using the text as a guide, be thorough and specific with your answer.